For students, I think the most important communication skill is probably the skills that I see them struggling with the most. So I would start from there to try to determine what those most important skills are. My perception is most students really struggle with public speaking. Not so much that they don't have the skill to do it, but more that they're nervous or scared about doing it. So I guess we could describe that as the most important skill for students, just because that's the one they seem to struggle the most with. The challenge for students, I think, is there's not necessarily a lot of opportunities to practice public speaking as a student, so you really might have to go out and search out opportunities to do that public speaking. Second, I would probably put for students written communication. So that obviously refers to, in terms of homework, the papers they write, but in terms of maybe thinking about their career, the emails that they write, and just formatting the email correctly, simple things like properly addressing the person you're writing to. The reality is most faculty tend to still use email as compared to text in communicating with their students. There's a variety of reasons for that. Number one on that list would be most faculty don't want to give out their personal cell phone number. So being that's the case, the ability to write a good email is really important. And if I could just point out one particular foible that kind of makes me crazy, that would be when you start out the email as a student and rather than Professor Smith or Dr. Johnson, you start out with Montalban. You just start out with the person's last name. There's very few business situations I've been in where you would address somebody only by their last name. So to the extent that any students end up watching this particular video, please stop that habit. Now, here's the thing. As you move from student into your career, I think those most important communication skills will change. The priority of them will change. I think early in your career, the ability to be comfortable speaking in a meeting, I think, is quite important because people are going to look to that to see how confident you are in your ideas. I think written communication will still be important. In particular, emails will probably be even more important early in your career compared to as a student because you will end up writing a lot of email early in your career. And then as you progress in your career, kind of a variation of public speaking will become more important. The ability to stand in front of a room or a group and motivate them. And that is a public speaking issue, that's a communication issue, but now that's kind of wandering into the issue of managing people well and motivation. But the reality is, if you're not comfortable in that setting, no matter how good you think your motivational message is, they're not going to believe it. So you might feel like you're a good motivator, but you have to be able to communicate that passion or that goal or objective that your group is trying to achieve. And everybody I shouldn't say everybody, sorry, that's hyperbole. Most of the people that I talk to from industry, they always talk about their team. It's kind of unusual to hear somebody talk about, I was working on this, I did this. Typically they talk about their team. So as you work your way through your career, clearly you have to be a good communicator because you're probably going to be working in teams a lot. So you have to figure out what communication style is going to work out best within your team. And that could vary from firm to firm. Maybe at some firms it's going to be the use of Slack. At some firms it might be email. At some firms it might be like chain text on WhatsApp or something. Whatever that is, you have to adapt, and you might be having to adapt team to team. Some teams might be doing video conferences, some teams might be doing group emails. Well, that means you're going to have to master both of those skills in order for your career to advance.